a convoy of American soldiers is traveling through Iraq at night aboard a vehicle. Due to his fellow troops' distraction, driver Bart causes a youngster to be struck by a vehicle. He realizes it was all a trap when he steps out of the car to check on the child and finds that he has been ambushed and fatally shot. In the United States, Bart is buried as a hero days later. Along with his love Janet, closest buddy Joey, and friend Matilda, he is joined by his entire family. The digger runs out of gas, and they are unable to complete the burial operation that day. Following Bart's burial, friends visit a bar to drink in his honor. While Janet crying, Joey says Bart deeply loved Janet, and he had even contacted Joey for advice on engagement diamonds. Janet becomes even more depressed as a result, and she rushes outside the building to mourn alone until Joey follows her and consoles her. They end up kissing and staying together all night because they believe things can't get any worse. Bart awakens in his casket in the cemetery, seemingly unaffected by what has happened. He is able to easily climb out of the grave because it is still visible, and he enters the mortician's building. He is horrified to see what has happened to him as he turns on the lights and looks in the mirror. His body is disintegrating and his eyes are all white. He uses a pair of scissors to untie his mouth, which has also been stitched shut for the funeral, before losing his cool at the circumstance. After realizing this isn't a dream, Bart visits Joey, who promptly smacks him in the head with a bat since he initially believes this is a practical joke. Joey tries to feed Bart after Bart persuades him that he is the real deal and says he isn't feeling well. Pizza and booze don't mix well, and as a result, Bart ends up puking all over the carpeting. They determine that Bart needs to visit the hospital, and they conceal his peculiar eyes with sunglasses. When a doctor checks on him, she is hesitant to approach and freaks out when he shows her the scars from the autopsy. Joey is rushing to get Bart out of the waiting area when he hears an alarm go off and the workers making a scene while also contacting the cops. The sun is already rising as they return to Joey's place, and Bart is already dozing off. A few hours later, Joey contacts Matilda, who is a nurse, and requests that she come see Bart. Matilda checks Bart's vitals and pronounces him dead, or more accurately, undead, after swearing not to tell anyone about it until they find out what's happening. She is certain that Bart has transformed into a vampire-like creature and will reawaken at night, so Joey needs to properly execute him before he starts assaulting defenseless people. The only methods that might be effective are a stake through the heart and the removal of the head, but Joey doesn't think the supernatural is real and disregards Matilda's advice as she departs. Bart awakens when night falls, as Matilda had predicted. Bart is served his favorite dish by Joey, but he merely pukes again. They are left with no alternative but to follow the legends, so Joey takes Bart to the hospital where he enters the lab covertly to steal some blood bags. Unfortunately, he is discovered by a nurse, so Bart must use the tool he has brought to force her to cooperate. The nurse places the blood packages in Bart's bag, and as he momentarily drifts off, she struggles to take the bag from him, causing Bart to drop the sunglasses. The nurse is startled by the strange eyes, so she withdraws, giving Bart time to grab his bag of blood before fleeing. Bart drinks the blood and returns to Joey's car where it helps his skin stop rotting. Following that, the pals go out for the entire evening, drinking at various bars and making small talk with women. Bart feels as though he has been granted a second chance at life because this is already more enjoyable than it used to be while he was living. Bart collapses once more in the morning, and Joey has to carry him back to his apartment. The following night, once Bart is awake once more, they play about with some of the mythical artifacts, but neither a crucifix nor holy water were harmful to him. Joey ultimately decides to refer to Bart as a revenant because he can't decide if he is a zombie or a vampire. Since Bart is once more in pain, they must take some action to keep him fed even though there is no solution for it other than outright dying him. The buddies decide to take a ride and attempt to approach numerous tramps while holding signs stating that they will work in exchange for food, but it turns out that the signs were really for show, and they would rather have just the cash. Joey suggests that perhaps Bart should kill them in order to draw their blood because no one will miss them, but Bart is unwilling to do so. After Bart vomits again on their next stop at the store to get some drinks, a man approaches them and expresses worry for Bart's well-being. But he's only acting. In reality, he's a mugger who pulls a gun as soon as he gets close. When Bart tries to stop him and is shot during the struggle, he simply gets back up because the bullets have no effect on him. The robber freaks out and starts shooting Bart repeatedly. Joey thus seizes the opportunity to knock him out by coming at him from behind. Now that they had to go before the cops catch up with them, Joey persuades Bart to bring the body in the car with them so he can feed it. Initially reluctant, Bart eventually yields to his appetite. After finishing the body, they wrap it and throw it into the water. Joey feels that more rocks should have been used, but Bart chooses to keep the mugger's gun. The next day, Janet and Matilda visit Joey's flat while Bart is comatose. When the police finally realized Bart's body was missing, they informed Janet, whom Matilda informed of the situation. Janet doesn't want to lose her boyfriend once more, so she declines Matilda's suggestion to kill Bart before he becomes too dangerous after Joey confirms he's alright because he's fed. After ejecting Matilda, she sits next to Bart while she waits for him to awaken. The couple reunites with a hug as night falls. When Joey and Bart go out for drinks later, they go into a business that is being robbed. Bart pulls out a gun because he has superpowers that make him brave, and as a result, both he and the thief shoot each other. The shopkeeper thanks them for saving his life by giving them the stuff they'd picked for free while Joey steals the dead robber's gun, and Bart feeds on the body. Soon after, a similar incident occurs. They discover a man being robbed at the ATM. As a result, Bart kills the robber and consumes it while the victim is allowed to flee unharmed. Later, when the store clerk they assisted makes the news, the reporter refers to the guys as vigilante gunslingers. As they feel like superheroes now, Joey is ecstatic and wishes Bart would also give him the dark gift. Bart, however, declines because being a zombie isn't as enjoyable as it sounds. The next evening, Bart makes an effort to thwart a group of burglars from robbing a liquor shop. Joey believes that his friend is in danger and goes to help, but ends up getting shot. In a desperate attempt to save Joey, Bart attempts to take him to the hospital. However, Joey passes away on the way, leaving Bart with little choice but to feed on him before returning to the apartment. A little while later, Joey also awakens as a revenant. The companions come to the realization that criminals are the ideal food for them because they don't feel bad about murdering them and because doing so makes the city a safer place. They start searching for crimes to stop while driving about every night. They approach the criminals with confidence in their powers, shoot 1 or 2 bullets into them, and then feast on the bodies before stealing their cash, weapons, and any illegal substances. They dispose of the dead in the river once they are finished. The topic is soon covered by numerous newscasts, and because the subjects are so appreciative, they never bring up their eating habits. When the cops eventually manage to capture Joey's vehicle on the security camera one night, Matilda is able to identify it right away. She makes the choice to accompany the boys the following night into their second hideout, a warehouse where many men are managing a significant quantity of happy dust. The pals don't think twice before killing them all, but Bart starts to regret it when he learns that they were police officers. Joey disagrees, stating that it's fortunate that these folks are no longer alive because the work they were doing here was corrupt. When Matilda overhears everything, she records everything on her phone before identifying herself and pleading with the people to give up or she'll call the police. Bart is unsure about what to do because he wants to protect Janet, but despite Matilda being an old friend, Bart doesn't think twice about shooting her. But Matilda gets to email Janet the recording before she passes away. Joey sends Bart back to their house to pack as many things as he can while he makes some special arrangements out of fear that the police will discover them too. However, Janet is waiting for Bart when he gets to the apartment and is unhappy because she heard Matilda's recording. Janet offers herself to stop any further killings after Bart confesses that he cannot continue to live without drinking blood. Bart joyfully starts sipping from Janet's arm, thinking that this would be the ideal cure. A little while later, Joey appears with the bags of happy dust he stole from the deceased police officers, a white hearse, 2 coffins, and he wants to get away to Las Vegas so they can have a great time at night and spend the day sleeping in coffins inside the automobile. But before they can make a decision, Bart admits that he accidentally killed Janet while feeding on her and lost control. When Bart hesitates, Joey mocks him by admitting he spent the night with Janet. Furious, Joey blames Bart for what he did and begs him to cut off the head so she won't suffer like them. Joey gains access to another weapon and uses it to shoot Bart away before departing for Las Vegas alone. As the pals start to dispute, they pull out their firearms and start shooting each other until they run out of ammo. After that, Bart makes the moral decision to dispose of Janet in the river by placing both her body and her head in separate bags. Morning arrives as Bart is being held in a prison cell after the police catch him in the act and arrest him. Meanwhile, Bart's first victim, who is also turned into a revenant and was able to escape the river because the buddies didn't use enough rocks, is taken hostage by a group of criminals and brought to meet Joey. The thief introduces Joey to his chainsaw in an effort to teach Bart a lesson for what he did to him. The police believed Bart was dead, so the next night he wakes up in the autopsy lab. After frightening the forensic examiner away, Bart makes his way back to the flat where he discovers a box with Joey's skull waiting for him. It can still speak, but it has trouble doing so Bart utilizes a personal toy to lessen the trembling in his throat. Bart agrees to help Joey end his pain after Joey describes what happened. Bart tells Joey that he loves him platonically before knocking him over with a bulldozer as the group of buddies visit an abandoned parcel of land. After that, Bart attempts several other ways to terminate the situation, but none of them succeed. The subway rails are his next attempt, but it also fails, so he decides to catch the train. He loses control of his hunger as a woman approaches to check on him and climbs on her to eat. When the train stops at the following station, Bart is seen, so he dashes through the crowd while shoving security guards out of the way in an attempt to get away. The police are waiting for him outside and shooting him and every person coming out of the building without hesitation, yet this is still insufficient to stop Bart. He hurries past the police and flees the city, oblivious to the bullets piercing his body. He eventually arrives at a nearby hill where he waits for sunrise. Bart is picked up by a bunch of men dressed in hazmat suits after he passes out. The next time Bart awakens, he finds himself in a glass enclosure with other individuals that resemble him. The scientist explains that while they haven't discovered a genetic, viral, or bacterial reason for this, Bart is probably the alpha infection subject throughout the tour he is giving to other military people. A general claims Bart will benefit from his prior military experience after learning this. A little while later, large canisters containing all the revenants are dropped in the middle of Iran. If you like this video, please help us to grow and enjoy our other videos too. See you soon.